Good morning, and welcome to the Zoom worship service of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Riverside. Thank you for joining us remotely by Zoom, where we will continue live streaming and posting these services on our YouTube channel for our virtual attendees. Our opening hymn this morning is There Is More Love Somewhere, number 95, from Singing the Living Tradition. Please sit back and enjoy the hymn, and you're welcome to sing from home if you know it.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere.
Good morning. I'm Steve Fuji, a member of the Worship Committee and of the Board of Trustees of the UU Church of Riverside, and I'll be your worship associate today. Other members of the Worship Committee you'll hear from include Alec Peck singing our hymns. We welcome you to join this morning with an open heart and an open mind, and with muted electronic devices. Well, okay, that doesn't matter since you're not here. We invite you to leave your worries and defenses at the door and trust that what happens in worship is inspiring and powerful. Together, we affirm that this day and our being together can make each of us braver, more compassionate, and wiser as we begin a new day and a new week. For those of you at home, sing your hearts out. And now, I invite you to sit back and take a slow, deep breath as we move into our worship hour. For a call to worship, you are welcome to read with me the mission statement of our church. Our mission is to foster a diverse religious community that celebrates life, affirms the individual, encourages spiritual growth and open thought, and works to advance social justice and environmental sustainability. Len Hayward has a Master of Divinity degree from Andover Newton Theological School and is an initiated Druid in the OBOD, Order of Bards, Oviates, and Druids. Len has a wicked sense of humor and a passion for teaching. He loves to open minds and hearts to the natural world and to connect with people from different spiritual paths. And most importantly, he is the proud minion of his cats, Fujin and Raijin. Faith has different meanings for each of us, especially among UUs. We'll be delving into these different meanings and look for what we have in common. We have two lightings of sacred flames. The first is the occupied Indigenous Peoples Remembrance Candle. The second is the lighting of our own chalice, the symbol of our faith. We walk upon the traditional territories of diverse and sovereign peoples, the original peoples of this land who continue to cry out for justice and self-determination. This spot we occupy was first the sacred space of several groups of Indigenous peoples, including the Cahuilla and Cupeño and the Serrano. We, the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside, light this sacred flame as the stewards of the sacred and holy space. We are blessed with a space and opportunity to strive to live out our common principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her people, and to be part of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Let these thoughts carry us forth as we journey and worship together. Today's reading of the Chalice Lighting is "The Chalice is a Symbol" by Deborah Falk. A chalice lit in our midst is a symbol of our liberal faith, a faith built on the foundation of freedom, reason, and tolerance, a faith sustained by acts of kindness and justice, a faith that visions a world flourishing with equality for all her people, a faith that demands the living out of goodness, a faith that requires thoughtfulness, a faith of wholeness. This tiny flame is a symbol of the spark of all this within each of us. So we'll greet our guests now. If there's someone online who would like to introduce themselves, please use the Zoom raise hand feature and we'll call on you. Please let us know who you are, where you're from, and how you found out about us. Adam, do we have any online visitors with us today? Okay, Jenny?
Oh, there we go. Hi, my name's Jenny. I live in Big Bear, and I have gone to the UU Church in Pasadena and also in Sherman Oaks, I guess it was. And I've been living up here in Big Bear looking for a spiritual community. And when I found you guys online, I was excited. So I thought I'd pop in today because it's not so far of a drive. So I'm thankful to be here and glad to see so many faces.
Okay, welcome, Jenny. We're glad you're here. Do we have anyone else? Okay, well, for new visitors online, if you wish to get added to the mailing list, please email the church office at admin@uuchurchofriverside.org. Now there are a few announcements we would like to share. During the service, we will mention several websites, email addresses, and phone numbers. At the end of the service, we will leave up a slide with all this information, and it's also available on our website. The bi-monthly UUCR newsletter comes out the first of every month by email and per request by postal mail. If you have something newsworthy or that you would like to contribute, email uuchurchofriverside.calendar@gmail.com or call the church office at area code 951-686-6515. If you would like to be added to our mailing list, please contact the church office. And again, all of these websites and things will be available on a slide at the end of the service. The first Sunday lunches are suspended until it is safe to do so. And okay. We do have an organization known as Cure, the Concerned UUs of Riverside. You can visit our website for the Zoom link and more information at uuchurchofriverside.org/justice. Okay, yes, we won't be meeting today though. In-person services, we have some good news. We'll be resuming on Sunday, February 20th. That being the third Sunday of the month, we will also hold our bake sale. February 19th, Supper Club will meet at 6:30. That's a Friday night at Ancho's, a Mexican restaurant in La Sierra. Contact Pat Cowender to be added to the reservation list. Joys and concerns. It is said that shared joy is a double joy, shared sorrow is half sorrow. On the first Sunday of each month, we share the joys and concerns that we have received from you and which you have collected throughout the month. If there's anyone who would like to share their joy or concern, please use the Zoom raise hand option or ask to speak using the chat, and we will invite you to speak one at a time. Otherwise, you can type out your joys and concerns in the chat directly, and we will read them aloud. Do we have any joys and concerns? Okay, we have some here. Len Hayward's father passed away peacefully on Sunday from Alzheimer's. It was time, and they were able to prepare over the past month. His family was all there, and his mother is doing fairly well. She's a strong lady. Kate was happy to hear that her Albanian daughter delivered a healthy baby girl on February 1st. Grace heard from older friends back east that she hadn't heard from in a while and was happy to hear that they were doing fine despite the pandemic. Okay.
Hi, my name is Alec, and I have a joy this morning that I'd like to share with you. My colleague Sean has been working really hard to try to pass his comprehensive exam, and this past week we found out that he did succeed. He passed at the PhD level, and so he will not be forced out of the university, and he gets to continue being my colleague. And so I'm really happy for him.
Okay, that's joyful news, definitely. So we do share all of these joys and concerns, and let's all have a little thought for Len Hayward's father and his family as well. Now, all of us here at this church are joyful that we will reopen on February 20th. It says 22nd here. Okay, please join us in person at the church for service at 10 a.m. Sunday, February 20th. Are there any other joys or concerns we can include? Okay. We place a stone in our water chalice to represent the joys and concerns we have shared with our church community and in recognition of those we hold close and have not shared. May we remember those who have spoken, those they have named, and those we hold in silence in our hearts. Our hymn now is We'll Build a Land, number 121 in Singing the Living Tradition.
joined the meeting.
Sharing our stewardship. This portion of our service is to support our beloved historical church. This can be accomplished in several ways. In addition to the weekly collection, you may send your checks to the church address, which is shown here. You may contribute by PayPal using the QR code, which is on the church website and also in the newsletter. Stater Brothers Market gives our church a rebate on Stater grocery cards, which we will have in church each Sunday. You get the full value, and the church also receives a percentage. Amazon cards are also available. Please donate as the Spirit moves you by whatever method works best for you. Thank you for your generosity, and to those who give of their time and their talent, thank you for your generous care and attention. Our next hymn is From You I Receive.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Our meditation today is Peace Be With Us by Lee Morris.
Peace be with me, peace before me, peace to the right of me, peace behind me, peace to the left of me, peace above me, peace below me, peace within. Peace be with you, peace before you, peace to the right of you, peace behind you, peace to the left of you, peace above you, peace below you, peace within. Peace be with us, peace before us, peace to the right of us, peace behind us, peace to the left of us, peace above us, peace below us, peace within. Peace be with us, peace before us, peace to the right of us, peace behind us, peace to the left of us, peace above us, peace below us, peace within. Peace within, peace within, peace within.
Now let us pause for a moment of silence. And now I'm pleased to introduce Len Hayward, speaking to us on what does faith mean.
Good morning, everyone. Very happy to be able to speak with you again. It's been a long time. Before I start, though, for those of you whose football team did not make it to the Super Bowl, I grieve with you. For those who they did, I am hopeful that your team will do well. Anyway, I grew up in a Christian household, specifically Presbyterian. But as a small child, denominational differences didn't really exist for me. My early faith was summed up by, Jesus loved me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. I believed two things. One, the Bible tells the truth, and it tells me. Two, Jesus, who is the Son of God, loves me. My parents believe these two things, so I believe these two things. James Luther Adams, a renowned 20th century theologian, social ethicist, and Unitarian Universalist minister, defined faith as what you place your confidence in. My early faith was my confidence in the Bible being true. Then I learned in school about the geological history and biological history of our planet. My faith in the Bible story of creation changed from being factual to being a story that helps me understand my spiritual place in the cosmos. Likewise, I learned about the history of different peoples, both ancient and modern, their different faith traditions, and their different philosophies. Christianity shifted from being the only understanding of our relationship with God to one of many approaches to understanding our relationship with a possible divine intelligence. I've had the blessing of encountering the divine in different places and in different people. I've experienced the sense of being connected to a place, to the land, to water and air, to all living things there, to the people there. For me, this connection is a sensing of a shared divinity. This changed my view of the divine from God as a remote, all-powerful being in heaven into the shared divinity found everywhere and in everything. We are not limited to having just one faith path. I have faith in shared divinity. I also have faith in science. Science gives me a proven way to view the universe and to understand my place in the cosmos. There is tension between my two faith paths. Science would say that my sense of connection, of shared divinity, is not something that can be observed or measured. It is most likely to be seen as nothing more than my imagination. I cannot prove that this connection, this shared divinity, is real. I can only say it is real to me. If the different faith paths we personally follow conflict with one another, then we must either accept the tension or find a way to reconcile them. I reconcile my two faith paths by putting my confidence, by having faith, in the idea that my sense of connection is a concept waiting for a scientific theory to be developed and then tested. Developing an understanding of our faith is only part of what we need to do. We also need to live into our faith. We need to take what we believe and live by it every day. Living by my faith in science means I think critically about any new idea, not just accept it because it's popular or because everyone in my community believes it. I evaluate ideas by the evidence supporting them and by how well they survive being tested. I try to follow the science and not attempt to twist the science so that it matches what I want to be true. Living by my faith in shared divinity means I am intentionally looking for how I am connected to everything around me, physically and spiritually. I try to live in harmony with the world. The Unitarian Universalist fourth principle promotes a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We all search every day, though we may not be consciously aware we are doing so. Our individual experiences will lead each of us to find what we place our confidence in. The wonderful thing about being part of a Unitarian Universalist community is that we are supported in our search. If we find the tenets of an established faith brings us spiritual fulfillment, we are supported by our community in exploring that faith. If we find that we are developing our own spiritual path, we are supported in this as well. That we are each free to search for our own truth and meaning may lead to the idea that we are free to believe whatever we want without regard as to how sound our beliefs are or how they affect others. This is not true. A key word in our fourth principle is responsible. We are responsible for exploring our faith together as a community. The Widening the Circle of Concern report published by the UUA's Commission on Institutional Change states, contemporary Unitarian Universalism as lived and as a living tradition has two commitments: freedom of belief and its orientation toward inclusion, interdependence, and justice. We are held accountable to each other for these two communal commitments. Being in community requires us to act responsibly and not embrace beliefs which will cause harm. Only in community will we be able to help each other recognize when our understanding has developed flaws. Being in community also helps us use our spiritual principles as the foundation of our justice work. The Widening of the Circle of Concern report warns, justice-seeking practices of Unitarian Universalists are often not grounded on spiritual or ritual principles. Instead, justice-seeking takes the place of ritual and religious life. Justice practices cannot be used as surrogates for deepening our spiritual lives. Responsible social justice seeks to balance spiritual growth with social action so that one does not replace the other. Instead, they work together and create compassionate activism. It is here in community where we find common ground. It is by sharing our search for meaning and truth that we learn from each other and discover what our faiths share. I said I live into my faith by trying to live in harmony with the world. Jainism, Hinduism, and Buddhism all adhere to the virtue of ahimsa. Ahimsa is a Sanskrit word meaning non-injury. It is living without causing harm to any living thing. Almost every established religion also shares a similar virtue. In Judaism, it is love your neighbor as yourself, from Leviticus 19, verse 18. This was written with people being the author's sole focus, but it can be extended to non-human life by how the word neighbor is defined. The virtue of ahimsa, the virtue of non-injury, is common ground between all of us. James Luther Adams defined faith as what you place your confidence in. What we choose to have faith in comes out of our life experiences and our ongoing search for understanding. Our 7 principles were developed out of the search for common ground. They are something I place my confidence in. They are why I say my faith is Unitarian Universalism. Our 4th principle of a free and responsible search for truth and meaning urges us to search for understanding in community and with commitment to our community. It is in community where we find common ground. And from living into the common ground, we can build the beloved community. May it be so.
Thank you, Len. It's so great to see you with us here again. Our closing hymn is number 16, "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple." This is a well-known song from the Quaker tradition.
to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn, turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right. 'Tis the gift to be gentle, 'tis the gift to be fair, 'tis the gift to wake and breathe the morning air, and every day to walk in the path we choose. 'Tis the gift that we pray we may ne'er come to lose. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn, turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right.
Now, Len will be leading us in our benediction.
Sorry, it closed. I have to bring it back up again. May our faith sustain us, by Jim Wickman. May our faith sustain us, our hope inspire us, and our love surround us as we go our separate ways, knowing that we will gather again in this beloved community.
Namaste, amen, and blessed be. And thank you, Len, for sharing your valuable time and insights with us this morning. It is sincerely appreciated, and we look forward to seeing you again. We're going to have about a 10 to 15-minute discussion following the service to share any observations or impressions you may have. Be aware that this will be included in the video. Okay, so now you can feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions or observations that you'd like to discuss with Len.
Right, thanks, Len. Thanks a lot for speaking with us today. I really liked what you had to say, especially your comments about that sort of, we see this paradoxical thing when we try to understand spirituality, and that spirituality or God is somehow simultaneously something that's totally beyond us and beyond the physical world and what we can observe, but also somehow it's also manifest in everything. It's inside of me, and it's inside of the flowers and the hummingbirds and everything. And so it's somehow both the biggest thing and the very smallest thing that's inside of everything. But then also we see sort of that parallel later when you were talking about the balancing between the orthodoxy and orthopraxy, the right thought and the right action, that we need to sort of hand in hand think about what it is we're motivated to enact this change in the world, but then actually go and do it.
Thank you. I'm glad that spoke to you. And yes, you're right. The importance of balancing things was certainly what really came to me as I was researching and preparing for the sermon today. So I'm glad that came through. By the way, for those who have not, I do recommend that you read the Widening the Circle of Concern report. It's long, and so sometimes it's a bit dense, but that comes out of this kind of a report. But it really speaks to the journey that we as Unitarian Universalists are going through right now. And I believe that it's important that we keep in mind those things that we kind of have been doing without really thinking about them, and take the time to actually think about them so that we are not by accident doing something that perpetuates an injustice of some kind, or is accidentally holding ourselves back in our spiritual growth. And there is a version online at the UUA that you can just read there if you wish. Or if you want, you can, through the In Spirit bookstore, purchase a printed version of it that's in book form. That's really excellent.
There's one thing that I find interesting, because it doesn't seem to change as the years go by. And that's the idea that science and the deep mystical voice seem to think that they own the whole conversation, that they own all the energy. And it's like, dudes, can you have a good day if you have perhaps 30% of my obedience, my agreement, my orthodoxy, my fitting in? Can you live with me as an ally instead of a drone, a subset of you?
An interesting thought. I don't know how you can put necessarily a percentage on things, but I always think that it's important that we approach each other with compassion. We don't know what the person we are speaking with has gone through, what their day has been like, what their year has been like, and we don't know their past experiences and where they're coming from. So if we approach with compassion, with a himza, if you will, then we have the opportunity to be in community, to be caring to one another, and hopefully in the process, we lift each other up just a little bit and provide a moment of joy to each other in our day. Oh, thank you, Alec, for putting up the link in the chat for where the Winding the Circle of Concern can be found.
This is Tinka. For some reason, my computer's not letting me rename. Len, I want to thank you for what you said. And I especially appreciated how you spoke on separating the difference between your belief, what you believe in, and what you have faith in. And I really appreciate that. And can you sort of quickly sum that back up again? The difference between what you believe in and what you have faith in?
Yes. The way I approach it in something that I believe in, I'm usually finding that it is something that I have through my own personal experience or through the evidence that has been gathered by a larger group to say, this really is something that's true or that works or whatever. And I can believe in this. But then there are those things that I really cannot provide any evidence for. No one else can. And in fact, I can't even for myself have any real evidence to say this is true. Like my sense of shared divinity, it's just this sense. And again, someone could very easily say, hey, it's just in your imagination. And I can't disagree. But it feels real to me. And so, because I have this confidence in what I'm feeling and what I'm experiencing, I have faith in this. But the same thing of having confidence in something means that I do have faith in what I believe, because I have confidence in it. So now, those things that there seems to be evidence, but I'm not really sure that it's right. I don't have a faith just yet in that because I don't have confidence in it. But when I do have the confidence, then yeah, faith is having confidence in something. And in this case for me, it's science and how science approaches things, the scientific method, and in my understanding of shared divinity. So those two, I'm able to, as I said, find a way to have them coexist. Now, even if I hadn't found a way to look at it and reconcile it, if there was indeed tension that continued and I couldn't find a way to resolve that, that wouldn't stop me. I would continue to have faith in those two things because of how I find my spirituality has grown, how my sense of belonging in community, in a faith community, continues and again continues to grow. So that's how I approach things and how I look at it. I hope that helps.
Thank you. And I know for me, like when you said about what you have faith in, it feels right to you or something to that effect. For me, I guess I would say that which I have faith is something that brings a wholeness to my spirit, and which brings a peace to my spirit. And those things that resonate with me in such a deep manner, that's what I have faith in. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Pat Kawunder.
Hello, Pat.
You can hear me. Hi. I just wanted to bring up an issue. Linda Van Voorhees and I had talked about starting a weekly or a monthly meeting one night a week to talk about how we integrate the principles into our lives or how we support each other's search for truth. And I just wanted to ask if there's any interest in that. I really liked what you said, Lynn, but I don't know, like if you would be interested in something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to bring it up. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, I would be interested in something like that. However, with everything going on in my life right now, I unfortunately can't really participate in something like that. As things settle down, yeah, I would love to come and join in that type of gathering to learn, to see what we can do to lift each other up, because it is important. So I'd love to be able to say, yes, I can do it right now.
Okay, well, thank you for responding. Anybody else?
Alec.
Thanks. Well, as you were talking, I thought of another comment because, so my experience with Christian Science, going to a Catholic Jesuit institution to learn about physics, it sort of seems to me that the evolution, to maybe use an ironic word, of the Christian idea of faith and science sort of seems to have three stages. It's sort of the first stage is seeing that, oh, it seems like there's a conflict between science and spirituality. And these conflicts are not reconcilable, and so you have to choose one or the other. And then eventually the sort of the second stage is Christians sort of then get the idea, actually, no, these two things are not in conflict at all. They work in completely separate realms. Faith is sort of all over here, and science is all over here, and they don't conflict because they work in sort of completely different regimes. But then the third level of understanding is actually no, those two regimes are exactly the same. They don't come in conflict because the realm of studying science is exactly the same process of understanding God, because science is the miracle of God.
I have heard this as well, and actually I've experienced it in my own studying of things, and it's been you're right. It's kind of an interesting, amazing journey going through those three stages, and that's in part that's finding those things that allow you to reconcile where the tensions are, or to learn how the existence of those tensions actually adds to the growth and understanding of both the physical world and our spiritual understanding of everything. So yes, they do end up meshing, and meshing fairly well. And I've seen this in everything that I've studied about many of our more noteworthy scientists, that as they study more, it's like their faith grows. The deeper they delve into things, the more they have a belief in something that is divine in everything that we see and experience. You're muted, Alec. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to add into the chat a link to the YouTube version of that meditation that I asked to be shared. And it's something I like to use, as part of how I do my own meditation, is I will end up using that quite a bit. So in this version on YouTube, she has some comments that she makes at the beginning before actually singing, but they're certainly worth hearing as well. So do enjoy it.
Thank you for sharing with us, and thank you for joining us for the question and answer. If you see what I've shared on the screen there, I want to make a quick announcement before we go. 11 to 5 today at Fairmount Park is the Vegan Depot. It is a vegan market with food and products and all kinds of good stuff. So if you've got some time this afternoon and you're here in Riverside, check out Fairmount Park for the Vegan Depot. You guys have a good week and see you next Sunday.
Thank you, everyone.